a very common trait among those who want to achieve their goals, a strategy that all these famous leaders like Caesar and Alexander the Great and Napoleon, something they use is hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know what time of day it is for you, but welcome to another episode of the Teen Finance Podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a self-improvement episode. Hopefully it's not like we don't turn it into like cringe self-help stuff, but we want everyone to come out of this episode on a track to improve themselves as a person. This sounds cringe, but I feel like we'll be fine. It'll be good. It'll be good.
No, it'll be great.
It'll be gas. All right.
I made it. I tried to make it my best to where it is not cringy self-help.
Yeah,
it's stuff that I
gonna
found that I thought genuinely would help me.
It's actually useful stuff
in the world. So I'll start it out with the first thing. Do you have any announcements, Sam? Anything like that? Or?
The only announcement I have is to remember to follow, subscribe, do whatever you can on your podcasting platform so you can get notifications when we upload a new episode, so you don't have to rely on seeing our Instagram stories. That's the only thing. Get into it.
All right. So I was watching this video. There's this guy called Better Than Yesterday. I'm gonna shout him out because I took his name, but it's called the 20-second rule. And basically the 20-second rule is you make the thing you want to do 20 seconds easier and the thing you don't want to do 20 seconds harder.
Okay.
Right? So an example of this could be, right, like you come home from school, right, or work, you don't want to go to the gym, right? But your TV is right there. You watch TV, which is you just sit down on the couch, you watch your TV.
Yeah.
Or you go to the gym, which probably takes you 20 seconds to put together your gym bag, right? So the day before, you pack your gym bag, put it by the door, and maybe you put the remote somewhere farther away, right? And so that makes the remote 20 seconds harder to get, and it makes the gym 20 seconds easier to go to. And basically what it is like you always want to take the easier way out. But if you make the normally easy way and the less productive way hard, then you'll do the easier thing, like going to the gym. And once you go to the gym, you'll feel good. You'll want to go again. That's the gist of it.
That's dubs. I'm trying to figure out.
Good,
I'm already like thinking of ways I can try to implement this, but it's solely true that like it's I find now like it's way too easy to go on your phone and open up like social media and stuff. And I guess there's one way that I've implemented this into my own life. So, on like you can get sucked away onto TikTok for like hours on end.
Oh, so easy.
So what I did was I set myself a screen time limit on the app, and then you have to put in a password. So I just like put in a random password and then I forget it. So then if I want to if I'm that desperate to get onto TikTok, like to the point where even after an hour I need more, I have to delete the app, reinstall it, sign back in and everything, which just makes it enough of a pain in the ass where I never go past that 1 hour.
You made it 20 seconds harder.
More than 20 seconds.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's exactly. That's like the 5-minute rule.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what I need to start doing is making it easier to do stuff that I don't want to do in the moment, but I know that I want to do to, better myself.
Yeah, no, because like my problem is I get home from school, I'm like, oh man, I've been doing school all day. I've been doing stuff all day.
I just want to relax. Lie down and sit on TikTok.
I deserve to sit here and mindlessly scroll through TikTok for the next 2 hours. Follow us on TikTok at Teen Finance Pod. But I just sit there for hours, right?
Yeah.
And also, I will do it for hours. It's sad. I should try to set a screen time limit. That's smart. I do it before bed.
You just have to put in a password and forget it.
No, I'm addicted to TikTok. It's actually terrible. But another example that I saw of this was like meal prepping your food. And it's just like a lot of people, like the easy way is always to get like fast food, I guess, or eat out, pick up food from somewhere.
In our poke bowls.
Okay, that's all right. Poke is delicious. But basically it's like you always want to go out. You don't want to make food. Like no one really wants to go home after a long day and make food. But if you just like prep it during the weekend when you have plenty of time, you can go home and eat something healthy, right? That would be so much better for you than eating some like okay quality food, or even just like terrible food, like some like McDonald's or something. And if you just make it easy for yourself to eat nice, like eat clean, you'll do it way more.
I guess this is like the slot where companies like HelloFresh, Blue
Oh,
Apron, all those.
Factor.
That's like what they're doing basically, is making it easier for people to like cook healthy meals and stuff by just like delivering the groceries to your door. So I don't
Yeah.
know. As meal prepping is like kind of something that you're supposed to do like by yourself, but I don't know. Other like companies can like also like slot in to try to fill that market for, but then at the same time then you're like taking the lazy way out by like,
Yeah,
so
that
then
is
you're
the
kind of like
lazy
not
way
doing
out.
it. Do it
I feel
yourself,
like that
have
if you
some
could,
discipline.
yeah, if you could just make yourself commit to meal prepping your food, like it'll probably be so much better for you too, and you get good at cooking
Exactly,
because
which is
you're
a
making
skill you
food
should
that
have.
you. It's like food that you're gonna want to eat for a whole week, right? You have to choose what you're gonna want to eat, and you're gonna want to make it good. You're not gonna make some terrible food,
Make some chum.
and it definitely saves money. Like, dude, eating out is
Yeah.
so expensive. Like, I definitely do it way too much, but it
Do you
gets
think,
so pricey.
yeah, I like, it's like what Graham Stephan does with his whole like 20-cent iced coffee thing, where
Oh, explain.
instead of, let's say you go out every single day to buy a cup of Starbucks, that can be like what? Starbucks like $5 now to get
Oh,
like a
it's
normal
so
coffee.
bad.
It's wild.
Yeah,
So $5 every day, that's gonna end up being, quick math. Come on, Sam. At least like probably like 2 grand a year around. So, or just in between like seven, like maybe 1750 or something,
1,800. Right? Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So now that over the span of your life, plus you have to count all the compound interest that you could be getting, you're basically losing out on like $1 million if you like do that throughout your whole life because of like compound interest and stuff. So if you can limit it by like, I don't know, just making your own coffee, it's like not that hard, and it's probably, you can probably make it better than like Starbucks.
yeah.
Easy way to
You
like,
could like invest in an espresso machine too.
yeah,
That's your income.
exactly.
It's not terrible.
I think that if you're like filthy rich, then at some point maybe your time is worth more than how much like the coffee costs. But until you get to that point, like don't waste your money on like dumb stuff like that if you can
Yeah,
help it.
that's fair. I think I think Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank, I think he does that too. Like, the billionaire.
Yeah.
I think he also does that. Or maybe that was their episode together.
But it was like I think it was in their episode together. But for Kevin O'Leary to be doing that doesn't make much sense. Bro makes like so
No,
much.
he's
He
yeah,
probably should be buying Starbucks or having someone
dude.
else make his coffee for him,
His royalty on
because
every single business from Shark Tank.
yeah, he probably has a royalty on every Starbucks cup sold. He probably gets
He
back
probably
like
does,
20
dude.
cents. So
He makes money when he buys Starbucks.
exactly. So I basically like do this if you're a normal person. I don't know, like, because you won't make huge amounts of money like cutting back on little things like that. If you want to become like ultra wealthy, it's got to come from some other place besides just like saving a couple bucks every day.
Yeah.
Um, but you can definitely get something substantial from doing that. So, but if you want to go like become a gazillionaire, then I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta buy and sell a company for that. But it's also like you get healthier food. Like making your own coffee is probably better quality than Starbucks
Yeah,
coffee. Um, that's another
grinding
big
your own
thing.
stuff. I
Yeah,
should
dude.
go down to like wherever they grow coffee beans and like harvest them
Yeah, and
myself every
I
single
crush
day.
them in my teeth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I grind
Straight
them in
from the
my teeth
source.
and then I grind up the coffee beans in my teeth and then I drink a cup of boiling water and that's how I do
Yeah,
coffee.
just switch it around. Instant coffee in my
Yeah,
mouth.
instant cut. Yeah, exactly. All right. What else do you have? What other tips?
Okay. Okay. So I believe the next one that I had. Sorry. Okay. This sounds cheesy, right?
Hmm.
And this is basically why you shouldn't tell other people your goals. Okay. Do
Okay.
you have any idea where I'm going with this?
Kind of. I don't know. Like what? Under promise, over deliver type thing.
Kind of.
Okay.
Okay. Well, basically, when you tell someone else about your goals, right, it feels like relieving. Like it feels like you're getting something off your shoulders, and it makes it feel like you've completed more than you've actually done.
Mhm.
And there was this test done where they put it was 160 people into a room, right? And they gave them a goal to do in I think 2 days, right? Something easy, probably like clean your room or something like that.
Yeah.
And 80 people told the other people what their goal was, and 80 people didn't tell anyone, right? They just sat by themselves. And the people who told nobody got their goals done way quicker because they weren't socializing and they didn't think that they got their goal done by talking to other people about it. Like, okay, this is probably like a terrible example, but there's people who like talk about um, I've like from my parents' friends, I've heard this before, like about how they're gonna renovate their house. Oh, I'm gonna renovate the kitchen. I'm gonna renovate the kitchen. They talk about it for
Yeah.
like 5 years, never do it.
Yeah.
But if I bet if they told nobody and just did the kitchen, it
Just
would have
do it.
been just do it exactly, and that just like kind of makes you get it done.
Yeah.
And this like it kind of revolves around the idea of just like being. It's called like okay, I don't know how I heard it. I think it's called like being a doer, right?
Yeah.
There's people who will sit around all day thinking about doing something, saying you're gonna do something, and never do it. And there's people who will do something like right when you're told about it, right? Or they'll do
Mhm.
something like right when they think it'll better them. And the people who are doers are always way more successful than the people who just like sit there, think about it, never act on anything.
Yeah, I've definitely, like, struggled with this in the past. I run my mouth a little bit too much, and
I do
that's
too.
something that I try to change. Like, when we started this podcast, I'm like, we should, like, try to get out an episode as quickly as possible. Like, obviously, I need to tell you because 'cause I'm trying to get you to do this with me, but I think that I prioritize that bias towards action, which
Mhm.
is just the general idea that you should just try to do something, especially if it's something like creative like this. It doesn't matter if the first time you do it is bad. Like it can not be perfect, and then you can just improve over time. And
Yeah.
that's something that I've definitely struggled with, like trying to only put out like perfection until I realized that like you have to learn from not being perfect. And then you can get to that point of perfection so much better when you have like feedback coming back
Oh
at
yeah.
you. So
Totally.
I think the bias towards action is right like 90% of the time. Sometimes obviously you need to like wait because more information is coming out at you or something like that. But the majority of the time it's good to just try to like do something. Just get started because if you like starting a YouTube channel for example, um actually, this is something Ali Abdal preaches on his channel. This is because so many people who watch him are like people who want to become creators or something like that. And he always says, like, just go upload a video. It doesn't matter if it like sucks, but just go get started. So you don't
Yeah.
just like sit here, you know, making out with your own thoughts for like 6 months or something, however long it takes you. So I think the bias towards action is something that is very easy to apply in your own life. Once you're like consciously thinking about trying to do it, it's not that hard.
Yeah, completely. And my dad has a friend. He's like he works at Tesla, like pretty successful guy. But my dad was talking to him, and this was I think 2 years ago when like Texas real estate started blowing up like super fast, right?
Hmm.
And we were looking at like trying to get property there just to like quickly turn around because they were building the new Tesla factory there. And
In
literally two
Austin,
days,
is it or is it
n-
in
it's
Corpus
Austin.
Christi?
I think it's was it Austin? I don't know. It's somewhere there though. It's
Probably
probably
Austin.
Austin, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Austin. But literally 2 days after, right after my dad told his friend about it, he had three offers. He put three offers on three different houses, and he got two houses.
Dang.
Like days later,
So you just did
he
it.
he, he acted on it, and you know
Yeah.
what? That property probably tripled in value
Yeah. Bias.
easily.
If he had waited, if he had thought about it too long, maybe then
No, that's what
he would
happened
have
to us.
lost
We
out.
thought about it for too long.
And you lost out on the
We missed it.
gains.
Yeah, we missed the chance.
There you go. That's a very good example of bias towards action being the right move. Obviously, this isn't like don't be like stupid,
No,
like,
no, don't just
but like
yeah,
you know you'll know when you'll know deep down inside of you when you should just be doing something and when it's like you're actually just like waiting to like get more information and stuff. You know.
yeah, and it's like you kind of just want to play with what you can lose, right? Like when it comes to an investment like that, like only play the amount of money that you feel comfortable losing. Like
Mhm.
what I have to do, like, when I make an investment is I like to think that if I lose, 90% of this money, will it be, like, completely devastating to me, or would I be able to, like, come out of it?
Yeah.
And if I think it's gonna be completely devastating, I'll cut it in half and think about it again. And that's, like, all kinda just comes down to the idea of, like, just calculating your risk, right?
I think that for everyone listening to this podcast, we assuming that we got our target audience right, everyone listening to this is like a teenager, not super old yet. So when you're this young, this is the time, like one of the reasons why we wanted to like start this podcast in the first place is to, get teens like the resources they need to succeed financially while they're still young and they can like try everything out. You can mess up so bad when you're like a teenager and it will not affect you afterwards. Like you're not making a ton of money yet, so any investing that you do, you're not going to be making like horrendous losses. There's just so much you can do to mess up, learn, and then you won't mess up when you're dealing with like a large swath of money. So now is basically like when you're a teenager is the time to learn these lessons the hard way. And I think a lot of lessons, such as, don't buy individual stocks, you can't beat the market, all of that kind of stuff, you can only learn them the hard way. There's no,
That's so true.
yeah, you cannot learn them by hearing someone. That like when I started investing, I had heard that a trillion times. You go and do it anyway because you think you're like a genius. You cannot. There's no way to learn it like by having someone tell you. Like, you know what? Everyone listening is, if you haven't started investing, go buy individual stocks. Just do it because you're gonna inevitably, and just like lose the money and you need to feel that. You need to feel that burn inside of
Yeah.
you, or in your pocket actually.
Here, I'll give a little investing tip. It's kind of way off topic, but something that I wish I did when I first started was try paper trading,
I wish I
right?
knew. Actually, no. I did a little bit of paper trading, but I don't think it's the same effect.
No, it's not. But it kind of like lets you notice like what is gonna happen, right?
Okay, well, my paper trading story is actually a little bit unique. So
Let's hear it.
I started paper trading right after the crash from the pandemic, like in March of 2020. So I was thinking I made the paper trading account in like April. So I bought like a ton of Fiverr stock because I thought Fiverr was a really cool company. I bought this on my paper trading account and I got like 400% returns. So it did not
Okay.
teach me the lesson. That's what ego boosted me into thinking that I was a genius. So I'm like, I could just do this with real money. I was like pissed because like I'd done it with my fake money and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have made so much money because Fiverr went from like $30 to like 200
Oh, I
bucks.
remember that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So start paper trading in a recession. So then you can like
Well,
don't do it after during a big bull run.
well, I think our
Ego
both of
boost.
our trading stores are kind of unique because we hit it right during like COVID 2020
Dude, we
times,
started investing in such a weird
where
time.
it was just a time where like everything went up, everything jumped by like 10,000%. One day you wake up, it's at like $10. Next second, it's 400, then $2, $6.
The
Like
volatility was crazy, yeah.
it was crazy. There was so many people trading. Everybody was at home. Like there was so much info getting spread around. So many like different determining factors, and it's like it was kind of easy to make money then if you knew like just to take profit because that's not what a market should look like.
Yeah.
But I feel like right now the market's semi-normal. It's not really like barreling down or flying up. It's
Yo,
pretty flat.
another big lesson here. You don't lose if you take profit. You'll
That's
always
true.
come out
Yeah,
in the green if you take profit. So, consider it. I've never regretted taking profit, is what I'm gonna say.
that's true. And
I
I've
have
regretted not
regretted
taking
holding
profit.
the bag though. All
I'm
right.
textbook bag holder.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else?
Um. Okay. I have one more thing.
I got stuff after you, so we're good on
Okay.
hitting time.
Okay. There's one thing I'm gonna skip. You've touched on it before. It was talent stacking. I'm not gonna go into that right now.
Okay, if we have time,
But
we can hit it later.
yeah. I'm gonna do. Okay. Here's another kind of like not motivational, just like a thing to keep you on track, right? Like the 20-second rule. It's called the not to do list.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this before?
No, explain.
Okay, so right, you making a to-do list is like, okay, if you have anything you need to get done, start by making a to-do list.
Yeah, so I have been rocking this way for the past 2 years, actually.
Really.
Here's my to-do list right now. Just have it
Woo.
on my notes app.
Look at that.
So I think the to-do list is good. It's good. I'll explain why it's bad after. I want to let you finish because I don't want to like
Yeah.
say anything that you're gonna say. But to-do lists, I've been using them for the past like 2 years. Something. It started off on sticky notes and then I moved it to my notes app.
Yeah.
I find it like I've tried to use Notion and all those productivity apps before, but like you basically you have to keep it as simple as possible, I feel like. And I feel like Notes app is just that. It's so like primitive that
Yeah.
you have to keep it minimal for with distractions and stuff. All right,
So
I cut you off. Sorry.
I'm gonna go through my little to-do list strategy first. Is I use the app, it's called Reminders. It's on every iPhone, right?
Hmm.
And you go in Reminders and you make a new reminder and you can set a date on it, right? And I set the date as whenever I make it at like 3:30. So I should be getting home from school around then.
Yeah,
And until I go onto the Reminders app and clear it and like check it off, it will not go away from my home screen.
yeah, it just like
And
pesters you.
every time that I pick up my phone, I see presentation. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man, but I really want to go on TikTok right now. But I see it's just like staring at me, right?
yeah,
It kind of like lingers over me forever. And so what the to-do list, right? The not to-do list is it's a list of things that you shouldn't do, right? And so you write down the things not to do, right? So I tried this yesterday actually, right? But I wasn't really home that much, but I tried it after I saw about it, and I put do not go on TikTok, do not go on YouTube, and do not leave my room until 6:45 because I had notes to take, right? And I started
yeah.
at 6 o'clock. I said, do not leave your room until 6:45. I put do not pick up your phone. And I put it in front of me while I took my notes. And I actually followed it. I don't
Dude,
know if I just wanted it to work, but it was like actually really motivating that I set these goals to not do. And I like every time I looked at it, I was like, oh man, I don't want to check off my not to do list.
I need that. I need that
It's,
straight
it's
up.
it's like actually a pretty solid strategy, I feel like.
Yeah. Um, I think that for me, I need to find a way to like I should just have that like constantly pinned to my home screen. Because I'll like do something that I know I shouldn't be doing, then I'll get pissed at myself after. Like I shouldn't be this hard on myself, but I get like really mad at myself when I'm not doing something productive. Um, and I think maybe I should just be more deliberate with my time that like I am my me time and my work time, you know? Gotta
Yeah.
work on like separating those two, making them explicit so I don't spend so much time just like sitting on TikTok because I always regret it. I always
Yeah,
regret it.
me too. I
I should
always
just
do.
delete the app, but I
But
don't
I
know.
won't.
We actually need it for business reasons
Business
for
related
promoting
reasons.
the
Yeah.
pod.
Yep.
So
Yep. That's why I
um
have like so many. Yep.
that's
Yep.
the reason I spend I when I'm scrolling for hours, it's research for the
It's market
podcast.
research. Yeah, that's all it is. It's just
Um, but yeah, I think that the not to do list, I need to like have that on my as a someone should like make an app that can do this, but it's just like a can become a widget on your home on your
on your
lock
home
screen or
screen. Yeah,
something.
that'd be great.
Because now you can customize lock screens. So
Yeah. But I thought the not to do list was really interesting.
hmm
I saw the one example that I saw, the guy had a whiteboard in his room
hmm
and it was like very in his face. I thought that was a cool idea. Like
I could
putting a
put like a
whiteboard.
whiteboard above my computer. I guess I have a
And it's
Mac
like
right now,
and you
but
can like kind of just like brainstorm on it.
yeah,
I thought that was a cool idea, having
I
like a
should get a
whiteboard.
whiteboard, dude. Whiteboards are W. I feel like,
Right? They're sweet. And I
but I
feel
feel
like
like sometimes I just like doodle on them too much.
yeah, but like also you could also set your goals and then they're like your goals are stuck to your wall.
Yeah,
Like not on your phone. You can't just turn it over and throw it away. You're like throw it in the corner. It's like just on your wall.
yeah.
You're staring at the things you aren't doing all day. But
I
that kind
want
of
to
also
okay. I want to tell you my the problem with my to-do list. I find sometimes I worry so much I procrastinate stuff by like planning. So like I'll say, like, putting together my to-do list is, like, something productive, and then I'll just, like, stare at my to-do list for, like, way too long, but I don't know, and I often, like, prioritize doing the easy stuff on the
Oh, yeah.
to-do list because it's weighted the same as all the other stuff, like, it's the same font size, so
Yeah.
I just feel like you wanna make the to-do list smaller is the goal, and I feel like I'll just, like, target the easy stuff, which I guess is fine because it starts, like, a snowball effect of, like, getting stuff done, um, but I don't know. Sometimes, like, I'll put easy stuff onto my to-do list, like, trick myself into thinking I'm being productive. I don't know if that's, like
Yeah. You see, I tell people what I'm doing, and that's why I was talking about the why you don't tell other people your goals,
yeah.
right? I'm like my mom will ask me, and she's like, "Are you doing your homework?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go work on my homework right now." And I go to my room. I'm like, "Oh man, I just finished my homework. I said I was doing it."
I feel like, yeah, sometimes it can be good to tell other people what you're doing if those people will keep you accountable.
Yeah, if they'll hold you accountable, then it's
Yeah.
great.
That's, like, the one situation where
But
that makes
I feel
sense,
like you
but
can't rely on strangers to, like, hold you like, people you just, like, talk to, you can't just tell them your goal and then rely on them to hold you accountable.
yeah.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
No one will. Maybe, like, your close friends if you, like, want them to.
Alright, this you know what? This whole what we just talked about segues perfectly into something that I've wanted to talk about for a minute. So, so you've hit everything you really wanna talk about, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to steal the last 15 minutes here. I'll see
All you.
how much I can squeeze in. But for a while, I've been listening to this podcast called How to Take Over the World by this guy named Ben. Great podcast, highly recommend. He basically does biographies on very famous and like significant leaders throughout history. So, and he outlines like, the steps they took to take over the world. And I've gotten some very good takeaways from listening to hours of this podcast that I want to share, all bundled up, so you don't need to listen to the hour-long episodes. You can kind of just get like the main points. So the first one, a very common trait among those who want to achieve their goals, a strategy that all these famous leaders like Caesar and Alexander the Great and Napoleon, something they use is they all tunnel vision on a single goal. So this is basically it's like long-term thinking for success. So you have to figure out like what your goal is. Let's say in the case of Caesar, he wanted to become like the first man in Rome, the most important person in Rome. And he focused on that goal. So what he did was he didn't get distracted by any short-term gratification. He was laser focused on achieving this one thing that he really truly wanted. And then all the distractions, all the other things that, may be cool in the moment. He was just like, nope, unless it helps me achieve this goal, I'm not going to do it, going to let it be. And with that tunnel vision, you can accomplish a lot more. And you just have to be very like clear about what you want and what gets you there and what doesn't. So, for example, to tie this into my own life, I'm like, what do I want to get out of like my high school years or something? One, I want to have a good time, obviously. Two, want to get into a good school, right? Because I know that
Yeah.
once I'm into a good school, then that can help me, that can open gateways of opportunity. And sometimes I think like there can be distractions with the short term gratification, primarily in like my little media business. Like there's a lot of like jobs that I can take, money that I can get. In the moment, it's like, shoot, is doing this like working on this essay or like making this video to get like however much money? Which one is like it gives me more short term gratification? Obviously, the one that's going to give me money and like, going to get my name out there and stuff, which can obviously help in another one. But basically, it's like, I just have to remind myself like what I want to do. Like I don't really want to be a sports photographer later in life, like yeah, maybe I'm making money now, but I'm not going to be like super rich by taking sports photos when I'm older.
Yeah.
So, really staying laser focused on my goals is like something that I need to work on, like I need to get better at it, but it's something that I'm actively trying to do to like close out all the distractions and realize what's going to get me to the place where I want. Do you have any like examples of this in your own life, Maseo? Like, how can I don't know.
Of trying to like see if something's really worth it. What
Well,
do you
just
mean by that?
like times when you've closed out distractions because you know what you want. Like, what do you want to do when you're older, Maseo?
Hmm?
I'm hitting you with
Nothing.
the big questions now. This
That's
is
a
an
big
interview
question.
now.
Okay, you know what? I want to do something involving like I want to be like a CFO, a
Hmm.
chief financial officer. That's like
Yeah.
that's up there. That's like probably the dream is
Boom.
managing a company's finances.
So that there's your goal. There's your goal. You want to become a CFO. So now you have
Okay.
to think like what
Yeah.
is going to get you to that position. Obviously, like this podcast is like it's like a great,
15 finance
gateway.
podcast.
It's building like um a giant pit of Maseo content for like potential hiring managers to like listen to and like figure out who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
So something like this is like something that's going to get you to that point. What's like not going to get you to that point? I don't know. Other like distracting things like playing Overwatch
Okay. Yeah.
2
Here it is. Here it is.
on
Okay.
release
That's
for
here's
no.
my big distraction is like searching for like instant gratification, right?
Mhm.
Like like everybody's brain is tricked into always wanting, dopamine, which you get from gratification,
Yeah.
like watching TikTok, or in my case, I used to play so much video games, right? I was like, it was taking up so much time. Like my grades, well, final semester of last year were like so rough because I would come home from school and I would not want to do any homework.
Mhm.
I would just play games and then like work on my homework for maybe 30 minutes every night,
Yeah.
which is nothing. And like I've almost like completely cut it out, and like it doesn't even bother me at all. Like I kind of just like slowly stopped playing certain games that like I didn't ever have that much fun in. And then like I haven't really played any games for like 2 months
Yeah.
until now. And I've been focusing on stuff like the podcast and school. It's like trying to like do stuff that actually will help me rather than just, searching for instant gratification.
And I think that the way you want to do this is you want to make it kind of similar to your 20-second rule that you talked about. You need to like that's the 20-second rule is one strategy that you can use to help you with the whole idea of spending like using tunnel vision to focus on what you really want. So to tie it all together, like if you can make it 20 seconds harder to like hop on the video game and 20
Yeah.
seconds easier to like go start your homework or whatever you want to do deep down, then
Yeah.
that's like an easy way to do it. Obviously there are ways you can make bigger barriers so that if you don't want to play video games, get a MacBook, sell your PC and get a MacBook because then you can't play video games anymore.
Yeah.
Um, stuff like that. You want to find ways that you can put barriers into your own life to make the things that you don't want to do harder to do. It's like there's two. I feel like there's two. Everybody is made up of two different people. They're like totally conscious self, like aware of their goals, dreams, desires, and aware of the smart thing to do. And then there's like their subconscious self, which just it's like the procrastination monkey in your head
Oh my god, I
that
love
just
that
wants
guy.
to go and screw everything up. You need to beat
So
the
true.
the subconscious self with your conscious self. So and you need to find ways that you can proactively like put up barriers to stop that.
Yeah, that's so true. And I feel like there's also like a fine line of, just like cutting everything that you enjoy from your life,
Ex- totally true.
and then actually like
Yeah.
doing better in yourself. Like if I was just to like get rid of all of my hobbies, maybe it'd be better for like career wise, getting into college maybe. Like I think I'd be sad. Like you'd
Yeah,
definitely
so
be
so that's
that
something
kind of
that
just
I've
tanks your
totally
life.
dude, I've been feeling it in the past like couple weeks. This is like during homecoming because of like student government and everything. Like the weeks leading up to homecoming are just like super hectic for me. And I've been feeling that burnout. So
Yeah.
totally important to get some me time, do some self-care. But if you can't, I mean, I guess try to be deliberate about it, you know? Try to be like, this
Yeah.
is time I'm gonna set aside because you don't wanna like because you're gonna need like something that a realization that I've come to recently is that your self-care time, your me time, your time to cool down is going to appear no matter what. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. There's no way to stop it. So if you try to have like no time for doing that at all, it's going to materialize in you scrolling on TikTok for like 4 hours, doing something that you
Yeah.
know isn't going to, release your stress maybe as much as like going and doing something deliberate, like going to the gym or something, or going like golfing, going to hit like some piss missiles at the driving range, or hanging out with your friends, doing something like that that
Yeah.
you know is really going to get to a point. Like you just have to realize that it's going to happen, and
Yeah.
if you don't set aside a time block for it, it'll materialize in bad ways. So I don't know. I need to
Yeah.
be more deliberate about that. I need to like put that on my to-do list. Like go
Yeah.
golfing, go have fun, you know?
Go golf. We should go golfing. But,
We should do that. Maybe
and that also
today if I have
that
time. I
kinda
don't know. If I
ties
have
into
time. I
your,
don't know if some specific, yeah.
lifetime. Yeah, that kinda ties into the
So
idea you're talking about earlier about, like, we're young now and things really aren't that important and, like, go have experiences and do things.
yeah.
Like, that's kinda all the same idea is, like, during your free time, like, try to go make an experience, just, like, something like that. Don't just sit on your phone on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, when you're older, what do you wanna tell, like, your kids or your grandkids that you spent your high school years on TikTok or you were, like, doing all these fun things out with your friends?
I think we talked a little bit about this. This is like in the first ever episode
It was the
of
very
this
first
podcast, we
episode.
talked about spending like when it's okay to like spend your money.
Yeah,
And we're like, go spend your money on like experiences in high school and stuff. That's like one thing that you should do 100%. And
yeah,
yeah, I think it definitely does come back to that idea that you need to have fun, or else you're not going to be able to be productive. What's the point in being super productive? It makes you depressed because the purpose of our life is to be happy, right?
yeah, and, I know there's this quote that, like, the one billionaires always say, I don't really know what it is, but it's like, you know, people say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy experiences,
You can buy experiences, you can buy time,
and it can buy time, but the only
time
thing you
doing what
can't
you want.
but the only thing you can't buy is, like, you can't buy youth, right? You can't
Yeah,
become younger, and you don't wanna waste your years when you're younger just slaving away so you can be successful when you're 60.
I
But then there's
think.
also a fine line between
Yeah.
those 2
I
things
think
of,
that's
like,
I'm gonna like, my whole idea is that I wanna be, like, financially free by the time I'm, like, 30 so I can, like, enjoy
yeah,
those
me
years
too.
with, like, my kids and stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but, like, try to, like, have fun while doing it, you know? I don't wanna, like,
yeah,
just be like, have, like, no fun all the time. Obviously, there's ways you can totally do both. It doesn't need to be one or the
yeah,
other, I feel like. Alright. Um, I'm gonna if we have a little bit of time, so I'm gonna do, one more lesson from people who have taken over the world. And it kind of ties into the whole bias towards action thing, but a common thing you see among these mighty military leaders is they always want to be like the first one to attack and do something. The reason your bad plan is better than your enemy's no plan. So the basic idea is like, oh, you can like wait to like, I'll try to tie this into like, everyday life in a second. But when they're like in the battlefield or something, like Napoleon is about to like prepare to fight an enemy, they could sit there for like 3 days and like draw up a big battle plan, but then that gives like, the other people time to like figure out their battle plan. Instead, you can just throw together like one really quickly. That's like, oh, it's okay. It's obviously not the best. But then you just go straight at the enemy who has had like no time to prepare, and you can just body them. So this kind of comes back to like the bias towards action, like just do stuff, because oftentimes if you spend too long waiting to do something, someone else might have that same idea. Like let's say in terms of like starting a business, you could wait years to like perfect this one idea you've had, but who knows if in that meantime someone else will like steal that idea from under your feet, and it'll all have been for nothing. So once again, like, trying to just get stuff done, just do it. Find ways to make it easier for yourself to just do stuff is something that I think will greatly benefit you. So I don't know. Obviously, like we're not like fighting, we're not like war generals or anything. So you have to find ways that this actually like translates into your life. But I don't know. Moral of the story: if you have something that you've been thinking about doing for the past like couple months, like what are you doing, bro? Like stop
True.
being such a wuss and just do it. Straight
And
up.
that's like what we were talking about earlier about being a doer.
Yeah.
And it totally works. Like you want to be successful, you have to do things. It won't just come to you. And like everything in your life you have to work for. Well,
Like
in most cases.
it also comes back to there is never going to be the perfect time. And
That's
you know
true.
what? Just maybe about an hour ago, I was reading letter from Birmingham jail, which is like a famous Martin Luther King letter. And one of his main arguments was to rebut against like these clergymen, these white clergymen who are like, "Oh, don't go peacefully protesting. Like now is not the time. Go go try to do it through like the court system and stuff. Like why right now?" Um a big thing was that there's never going to be a right time to like execute on a plan. Sometimes you just got to get it done, you know? So
Yeah.
stop waiting for like this perfect moment because that's just you like trying to find a way to procrastinate. Just got to do it. Get that idea
Yeah.
and just like do it. Throw out a rough draft. Kind of have to think about it like that. Like if you go back to the first episodes of this podcast, I mean, I don't know how much we've improved, but we've definitely gotten better. We've gotten more like comfortable and stuff. And who cares that those first episodes are bad? They should be.
Yeah, no, they should be. And it's like and the feedback that we got from those first episodes is so valuable.
You
Like
can only
now,
get better by like doing it and receiving feedback.
that's so true. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I know
What?
we're over time, but I actually have one more thing that kind of fits perfectly into this.
All right.
It's the idea. It's from a book that I read called Outliers by the famous Malcolm Gladwell, and one of the main takeaways that people get from the book, it's not a self-help book by any means. I've talked about this a lot with like the other people who've read it, like Nate and Rawl and stuff. But um, at the end of the day, it's not a self-help book. It's actually like pointing out the different like factors of luck that successful people have in their lives, which is like totally true. You have to take account of that. But the one like self-help type part of the book, the takeaway that like everyone brings from it is the 10,000 hour rule, which basically says
Mhm.
that you need to have 10,000 hours of dedicated practice to become world class in like any discipline. So,
Yeah.
say you want to become like cracked at playing the piano, it's going to take 10,000 hours of you playing the piano to get good at it. But an important caveat that I think I don't know where I saw this, but someone highlighted that 10,000 hours of practicing something without feedback is not it's useless.
That's
So
so true.
if you spend 10,000 hours like talking to yourself, recording practice podcast episodes, and you never post one episode,
Yeah.
then how are you going to know what's good and what's bad? Like you just need to get stuff out there so you can receive feedback, and that's how you can like that's how you make those hours really worth it, and you make those hours like something worth putting time into.
That's true.
And I think it can also sometimes like if it's something like playing video games and you want to become really good at a video game, the instant feedback is built in. Like you get kills
Yeah, it is.
or you don't get
Yeah.
kills. You die or you don't die. If it's something like you want to become really good at playing chess, like you win or you don't win. So in some of those things it's
Yeah.
built in. But in others, like if like stuff that's more, creative, there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no like finite, just like explicit like parameter for like winning or accomplishing something, then you need to get that feedback in other ways. So whatever you need to do to get those feedback and put in those hours is what you need to do if you want to become really good at something. All right.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
That was solid. We're hitting time. Sorry, I kind of went over with that, but I thought that would be a good way to like wrap this up. That's your call to action. So, yeah, let's sum everything up real quick. Everyone, after listening, go make your to-do list, go make your not to-do list.
Yep.
Go figure out what you really want to do. Go figure out what you're going to do for your me time, and then go spend 10,000 hours becoming really good at whatever you wrote down for what you want to
Yep.
accomplish. All right. That's it for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed. So, anything else you want to say?
No, see you guys next week.
Mark your calendars. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.